Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday and welcome back to Love Talks. I'm your host, Ina Love. I trust that you all are doing well. Today, we have a new segment on In God We Trust. In this climate, I'm going to call it, of everything that's happening in our world, I thought it would be wonderful to do a segment about God, just as a beautiful reminder to all of us that we have this great source to hold on to get through this time. For anyone who may be new to Love Talks, I do this Sunday segment every week at 5 o'clock on Sunday. Well, occasionally I take a day off, but or a Sunday off, I should say. But basically, I've been doing this every Sunday for the past 6 months. And if you are new to Love Talks, you can find all of the previous segments here on my Facebook page, although there's a lot of information here. So you can also find them on my YouTube channel at Ina Love Poetry or my website, somethingaboutlove.foundation.org. Also, before we begin this segment today, I want to start with a little bit of a confession, if you will. And it's not that I've done anything wrong, but I just want to share some truth because I try to be very open and honest. Well, I am a very open and honest person, but I try to convey that in my Love Talks. So I just wanted to share that last week, I actually had what I would call an off day. You know, in my Love Talks, I actually share a lot of information just to help all of us to understand life and how things work and how we get through the things that we all go through in life. And I think last week, everything just kind of got to me, to be honest. And I actually considered canceling and not doing the Love Talk, but I hope the message actually came through. We talked a lot about peace, which is something that, again, is really needed at this time. We've all been so inundated with, all the things that are happening in the world. But I will admit, as I said, confess, that it all kind of got to me. And I'm a very, I'm an empath and I feel things very deeply. So everything that's happening in the world, it really just started to weigh on me. And I had a day. So it was just something that I had to work through. But I wanted to mention that before we dive into the segment today. So anyway, just sharing a little truth there. So again, today our segment is on In God We Trust. As I was just saying, in the climate of what we're dealing with in the world today, I think this message today is just a beautiful reminder that, again, we all have this truth that God is with us to stand on, to hold on to, and truly that is what is going to get us through. So I'm just going to share some information that I hope will be a great reminder of all of that. So let's get started. So there's a lot of misinformation that I feel is swirling around. And I say that because it's as if none of us know what to believe anymore. You can if you watch television, you can flip from one channel to the other, and it's almost like, there's a different story playing. And just, we are all just overcome with this wave of fear. It just, I feel as if we're just pumped with so much information that none of us know what to think. We don't know what to believe. We don't know what to expect. There's just so much uncertainty. And this is a time in our lives that I don't think any of us have ever experienced anything like this before. So it's really as if we don't know how to react, we don't know how to respond, we don't really know what to do. And we're trusting the media, we're trusting the information that's being shared with us. But the truth is that God is our true source. And where the truth really comes. So that is the essence of the message that I'll be sharing today, is that we really need to get back to the heart and the core of the truth. And I'm going to share some information to hopefully help you realize that truth uh, that is available. So, and no matter what is happening in the world, no matter what is going on, no matter what anyone says or does or doesn't do, we have that truth to stand on, that God is with us, that God is for us. And that is truly what we all have to remember and believe. Um, as I said last week, I was going through something. It all just was kind of getting to me. And I really just had to get still, just to take the time to get still and remember. Um, so, again, we'll get through this. Because God truly is on our side. And I know that with absolute certainty. Those of us who are true believers, that God is with us. So I think it's time for us to have what I'm going to call like a little come to Jesus moment. And what that means to me is that in this time, in this climate, in this world, um, it's time for us to just cast some things aside, the things that are not serving us in this time, things like the worry, doubt, and the fear that just seems to be growing and amplifying. And it's really kind of getting out of control. And so, we want to come to Jesus. We want to turn to God, stand in that truth, and let those things go because they do not serve us. They do not help us. They are a huge hindrance because all it does is it really just stresses us out. And, like I said, all this information that we're being inundated with, it's overwhelming. So we just have to continue to come back each and every day, as many times a day as we have to, keep coming back to the truth that God is with us and for us. And we have to work our way through all of this information and everything that's happening step by step. We're going to get through this. We will. Of course we will. We have to just stand in absolute faith. It is time for absolute faith. Cast aside any doubt that you have of God, any doubt that you have about what's happening in our world. It is time for us to really get to the root and the heart of our faith and believe, like absolute faith. So, and let go, as we're talking about letting go, let go of anything that is standing in the way of your peace. Because now more than ever, we need peace. We always need peace, but now more than ever, because in this time, in this climate, as I'm calling this, we're dealing with so much that's going on in the world that the things that are happening within our lives, anything that's happening, with us individually, our own individual lives, that's like another layer to everything that's happening in the world. So you want to really be aware of those things. Be aware of anything in your life that is disturbing your peace, because again, it's too much. We're all just overwhelmed with all of this, because this information, all of this fear that's being pushed on us, it's happening constantly. So be aware of anything in your life that is stressing you out, and really work on do something about that. You don't want to sit on anything that is causing you to have more pressure on yourself, more stress, more worry. Be aware of those things and do something to make them better. So, because again, peace is so vital and important right now. That is the only way that we're really going to get through this in a healthy way, is to move through this experience with as much peace in our heart as absolutely possible. We all have our days, we all have our moments, but moving through this experience in a peaceful way, we're going to come out of this so much stronger and so much better. But peace is truly vital to our well-being on so many levels, like our mental well-being, our physical well-being, because things like stress and all of that impacts our health. So in order to help ourselves be healthy and stay healthy, we need to be in a healthy state of being, peace of mind. You want to have peace in your life, peace all around you at all, as well, I want to say all the time, but as much as possible, really work to have peace in your life and be aware of, again, the things of anything that is disruptive to your peace. So, we just have to stay positive, stay uplifted, stay focused, and believe. And we're going to take this journey, this experience, one day at a time. So my goal in these days is, truly to maintain that peace. That is like a top priority for me, honestly. And it's something that every day I'm being more and more aware of anything that shows up in my life that is disruptive. I'm looking at that and I'm saying, okay, what do I need to do about this to resolve that situation so that I can have peace around me? And showing up as a peaceful person, dealing with experiences in a peaceful way. And we talked about that last week in the last segment last Sunday. So I'm not going to go too much into that. But again, it's just something to be aware of, that peace is so vital and important, especially now. So in essence, we really just want to put all of our faith and hope and just rest in God, trust in God, absolute faith. So basically, my mindset in these days, and I'm sharing my truth and the way I process things, the way I work through things, but my mindset in these days is honestly, I just don't really care about what anyone says. I don't care what the news has to say. I don't care about the WHO. I don't care about the CDC. I don't care about doctors and scientists. I honestly don't care. I am creating my world and my experience. As I've said in a previous Love Talk, each of us, we are creating our own world within the world. And in my world, the world that I am creating for myself and where I stand in my absolute faith is that all is well in my world. We are in the world, but we are not of this world. Meaning, we're in the whole world, the all, the everything, but we create our own world within that. And I create not just in words, in my heart, in my belief, in my actions, that all is well. All is well in my world. I am healthy. I am whole. I'm a well-being. These are things that I speak and claim and absolutely believe each and every day. And trust me when I say, I know that coronavirus is out there in this world. Obviously, we hear about it constantly. We all know that this thing is happening, but I do not claim that as the truth in my world. That is happening in the world. In my world, all is well. I take precautions everywhere I go. Believe me, I think I don't have never considered myself to be a germaphobe or anything like that. If I've ever come close to being anything like that, I am at this time. I absolutely wear my mask. I've talked in other segments about how I sanitize everything that I bring into my home from the outside. But, I take those precautions, but I claim my health, my wholeness, my well being. And that is where I stand. And again, it's not just in words. This is something that I absolutely believe in my heart. And, we do what we have to do, but we stand in faith. We stand in truth. And that, just hold that in your heart and believe it. Believe it again. We're talking about absolute faith. So, being aware of any fears, any doubts, any worries, anything that stresses you, we want to release those and come to a place of, just truth where we can find peace and be centered and be hold, behold that God is with us, God is for us, and God will see us through this time. So, I'm sharing, this is my opinion. This is the way that I live my life. And, if this truth resonates with you, that's wonderful. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. But it's always good to have different perspectives and to understand, different points of view, different ways of seeing things, which, a lot of disagreements and well, truly every disagreement is just a different point of view, a different perspective. So I'm actually just sharing a different perspective and my mindset in this climate, in this time, this experience that we're going through. So if you don't have a solid relationship with God, now is truly the time. It is absolutely time to work on your relationship with God, to build that solid foundation where you can just stand in that truth of knowing that God is with you, God is for you, God will protect you and guide you and see you through this. And if there is any shadow of doubt when I say that, or when you say that, if there's any shadow of doubt, then work on going deeper in your faith. Because again, you want to get to that absolute faith where you can stand in that truth, not just in words. It is something that you have to absolutely believe in your heart. Just as, when I say I am well, I believe that with every fiber of my being. So, in this experience that we're going through, it is an opportunity for us to grow deeper in faith, really to get closer to God. So, because God truly is our peace, in God, we find peace in every circumstance. So, work on really, spending time with God, getting to know God, building that solid relationship. Because if you are not at peace in this time, that truly is an indication to do more work to build the relationship that you have with God, because that truly, with the absolute certainty, God is our peace. So I'm not, and I'm not just saying this, but I'm not worried. I'm not afraid. I'm not confused about anything that is happening in the world. I'm a believer. I'm trusting God. And in God, there's truth and there's clarity. And the deeper that I go in my faith, the more I find that truth. So again, a reminder to you that, particularly if you're experiencing a lot of fear at this time, really take a look at your relationship with God and seize this opportunity to work on building a deeper and stronger connection with God. Because, even when we get out of this experience, God is our true guide in life. So we want to have that experience. We want to have that relationship. So take this time, this opportunity to really work on that relationship, because I think a lot of people say they believe in God, but truly don't. I mean, and I know that is true because we can look at what is happening in our world. If people truly believed in God, they wouldn't do a fraction of the things that people do. So a lot of people are walking around saying that they are believers, but they're not living for God. So again, just something to be aware of is the true relationship that you have with God, and to work on that, to work on building that, establishing a true and strong relationship. Because I say every day, and I've even been vocal about this on Facebook, the vaccine, these different vaccines that are coming forward. And, a lot of people are racing to get them, but God is my vaccine. And that is where I stand. I trust in God that I am safe. I'm not going to be an experiment for anyone, because I personally, and again, I'm sharing my opinion, I feel that this vaccine has been rushed. There hasn't been enough time to adequately test this vaccine. So I don't trust it. And I choose not to have the vaccine. So I'm standing in my faith, believing, claiming each and every single day that I'm well. And that is where I stand. That is where I live. And that is what I believe. So again, in my world, but we each have to decide what is right for us. Some people choose to, obviously many people are choosing to get the vaccine. I personally, I don't. So as I said, each and every day I profess my faith. It's how I start my day. I wake up, and I have a conversation with God. And each and every day I reclaim my health and my well-being. And I'm at peace with that. I'm totally at peace with that. So what else? Let's see. Okay. I know that God has good intentions for us. So, the way I see it, what is happening in our world right now with this virus, God is love. God is good. What this whole experience with this virus, I do not believe that it is of God, because, and I've been really thinking about this lately. I personally do not believe that this virus is of God. I think that it is of man. And of course, we all know that man is flawed. But if I'm truly living for God and with God being first and foremost in my life, I opt out, if you will, of the virus experience. Like, obviously, of course, none of us choose to have that. But it's almost like, I don't want to say that I'm denying it, but certainly not claiming it as the truth of my reality within my world that I'm creating. And we each have the ability to create our own world, our own reality within this life experience. So again, just an idea, a concept, my way of thinking, the way that I live. And it's working for me, because I can tell you that I have absolute peace. Now, as I said a little while ago, I started this segment by sharing with you that, last week I was thrown off. But again, it was not because of the virus, not because of any fear, just, you know, truly my heart, because I really do care about people. And it really hurts my heart to see that people are suffering, that people are struggling. And, I allowed myself to feel some of that. And, it really did kind of rock my world, if you will. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of clarify that. So, basically, no one has a say over my life but me. I speak over my life, my truth, my world, my reality. I speak the truth of my world, of my existence, and I believe in God to support me, to stand with me, um, to create with me, to co create with me the reality that I choose for myself, the experience that I choose to live. Because each and every day we are doing that. We are creating our lives. There's power in our words. We are speaking our truth. We are speaking the reality. We speak many things. So I'm speaking my well-being. I'm speaking my wholeness. So do that, speak that over your life. And if you say those words and you don't completely believe them, keep speaking it until you do. So just sharing that, because that is absolutely where I stand. That is where I live, and that is where I find my peace in this experience. Because again, God is love and God is good. And in God there is love, there's peace, there's beauty, there's tranquility, there is harmony, there is balance. So if I'm living my life in God, then all of those things are available to all of us. So again, the key in this experience is just not just because it's not a little thing, is to stay close to God. And if you really just find yourself overwhelmed in this experience, again, as I just said, take the time to spend a little time with God. Ask God to help you, to guide you, to find peace and to have peace. And also, um, well, we'll get to that in just a moment. But there's a quote that I love, because I find this to be really very true if you think about this. And it says, suffering comes when we stray from God. So, again, if you find yourself being overwhelmed with the fear and a lot of doubts and uncertainty and just, confusion and all the things that are happening in the midst of this experience, again, that is an indication that it's time to do some work to get closer to God. So, God is the absolute source that is going to get all of us through this experience, and we really need God at this time now more than ever. Always, absolutely, we need God always, but in the midst of a storm, I would say that we are in a storm. We really do. We need God in our lives very strongly. So if you are struggling mentally or emotionally, just really, maybe physically get on your knees, like really get on your knees and pray and ask God to protect you, to keep you safe. Pray for yourself, pray for your family, your friends, your loved one. Pray to heal the whole world. The world needs all the prayers that we can absolutely muster at this time. And we have to remember, don't just pray for yourself. We have to pray, what we ask for others, we bring to ourselves. So pray for the world, pray to heal the world, and hold the vision of a new and better world, a healed world. Because each day we're getting closer to that. We're working with God in that direction. So, the last 4 years, and I'm just going to put it out there because, again, I'm always speaking my truth. The last 4 years have been very traumatic. Honestly, I almost feel traumatized by, all the misinformation and, just lies and deceit and uncertainty. It's like everything was just so confused. Like, you know, it was just hard to understand anything. We've been through so much. So now, as I said last week, it's like You know, we've been in this pressure cooker and the lid has been cracked open, and now we can just kind of all take a little sigh of relief, take a breath, just release some of that. But now, like I said, that we can take that breath, it's really time to just work to get back to center, work to become focused and balanced and in a state of peace, in a state of peace. But I don't believe, like I said, any of this, what's happening right now, I don't believe that this is of God. I truly don't. I mean, there are some dark forces that are working in our world. And honestly, I've never in my life believed in evil. I just, I know that bad things happen in the world. We've seen people or, we hear about people who have done horrific things, but I just never really believed, I didn't believe in evil until now. And I hate to admit that because that is an ugly truth of our reality. But, it's out there. It is out there. But we are all of this darkness that is around, all of these, evil, which I don't even like that word, but it's all coming to the surface. It's all coming to light. So many things have been revealed to us, and things come to light to be healed. So that is a good thing to know, because anything that is unseen is unknown. Now we know it has come to the light, it has surfaced, and it comes to the light to be healed. So a lot has come to the light. And it's difficult. It's difficult to face. It's difficult to go through, but we're working through it. We are healing it. We're going to be better off. We're going to be better for this, because when we get through this experience, we're all going to be so much stronger. Well, that is the goal, but we have to work on, keeping ourselves mentally sound to come through this experience whole. So again, just things to be aware of. So I don't watch television, and I say that like it's an absolute statement. Of course I have watched television, but I'm not a TV person. In fact, I have been home in quarantine for almost a year now, since I think March 14th of last year. And since March 14th, I have turned on the television twice. And that is the truth. Once to watch a Prince special, which you guys, those who watch regularly know how much I love Prince, the artist Prince. And the other time was just because I was bored and I thought, maybe I'll see what's on television. And it lasted all of 30 minutes. So I've never really been a television person. And I mean, I've been this way for years, where I don't watch it. I don't care for it. So you may be wondering then, how do I get my information? Trust me, there are many ways. I absolutely know what is going on in the world, but I choose not to just constantly inundate my mind with all of this negativity, because it is so negative. But through social media, I get news feeds on my phone. Of course, I don't read all of it, but I read enough to know what's going on. I like reading the information. And of course, in conversation with people. So there are many ways of knowing what is happening in our world. But all of this media stuff and, all of this, everything that's coming at us, it's too much, honestly. So I would suggest maybe try taking breaks from watching television, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed with everything that's happening. Take little breaks, give yourself a break. Don't constantly feed your mind with all of that. We know what's going on. Missing one day of the statistics and all of these things is not going to change anything. So really give yourself a little break from some of that and take that time to be with God. Use that time in a, in a beautiful way. So again, just a suggestion. So, um, and something that we really need to know in our heart, like know in your heart that God is real. God is real. God is not an idea, not a concept, not a figure of our imagination. God is real as anything you can look around and see, as real as the chair where you sit. God is real. And we need to know that. If you have a shadow of a doubt, and I've said before in a previous Love Talk, there was a time in my life when I believed in God, but I had questions. I had, perhaps that little shadow of doubt. You want to erase any of that. If you have any doubt, uncover that, work through that, release that, because God is truly real. And again, now more than ever, we need God in our lives. So this is all about awareness, being aware of the thoughts that we're thinking, the thoughts, the ideas that we're holding. We want to be aware of those things. So I want to talk a little bit about faith, because faith, hope, and trust is really what we need now in this time. So um, I'm going to share a Bible verse. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen." So we need faith in this time. Faith in knowing that God is real, faith in knowing that we're going to get through this time, faith in knowing that we are well, that we are whole, that if you are sick, you are healed. Have faith. Even none of us have ever laid our eyes on God, but we have faith that God is real. So faith is so vital and important in this time, to have a true, a strong, a solid foundation, a solid relationship, a solid faith in your belief. So, let's be aware of that. Also, I came across this while I was working on this segment, and I thought this was so beautiful when I read it that I have to share this. And it's about faith. But it says, faith is the basic ingredient to begin a relationship with God. Faith is the assurance that the things revealed and promised in the word are true, even though unseen, and gives the believer a conviction that what he expects in faith will come to pass. And I just read that and I thought it was so beautiful. So I'm going to say that one more time. Faith is the basic ingredient to begin a relationship with God. Faith is the assurance that the things revealed and promised in the word are true, even though unseen, and gives the believer a conviction that what he expects in faith will come to pass. So again, faith is so important. When you have absolute faith, you trust and believe that what you want, what you expect, the outcome that you want in your life, you just know in your heart that it will come to pass, that it will happen. So again, faith is so, so vital, important. So, we just want to keep the faith. We want to keep the faith, keep your faith alive, keep it strong, keep it close to your heart, and know that God is going to see us through this experience. Another quote that I love is, "Don't tell God how big the storm is, tell the storm how big God is." And I love that. I have leaned on that so many times, and it's absolutely true that God is bigger than any storm, than anything that could possibly come our way. So we want to really work on our relationship, strengthen our faith. So let's talk about hope. Hope is the belief that something will happen. How beautiful is that? Hope is the belief that something will happen. So, whatever it is that you are wanting, have hope and believe that it will happen. But again, I'm talking about absolute, without doubt, without fear, without worry, without stress. Absolute. It's a knowing. Um, that saying that hope floats. Like, have you ever thought about, these different quotes and what they mean? Like, if you really think about these things, hope floats. And that means, hope is such a beautiful word. No matter what you're going through, no matter what we're going through, we have hope to hold on to. And we have to hold on. We have to believe. We have to have faith. So hold on to hope. Just, have hope for the world, hope for yourself. It's a beautiful thing, and it's something that is so vital and important to a healthy life, to a healthy, way of being, a healthy mindset. Um, so hope is always there. Don't ever let go. Don't ever give up. You hold on to hope and believe. And this quote, Bible verse, I also love Psalm 71:14. As for me, I will always have hope. I just think that is so beautiful, so beautiful. Like words are so beautiful. So never lose hope. Don't ever lose hope. Just hold on. So let's talk about trust. We have faith, hope, trust, belief, like all of these things work together hand in hand. So we want to trust in God. Trust in God. Don't ever tempt fate. Don't ever test God, which is the reason I say, I know that the virus is out in the world. I wear my mask. I take precautions. I don't tempt fate, but I absolutely believe, I trust God to keep me safe, to keep me well, to co-create with me the experience that I choose for my life, the experience that I choose to have. So trust is vital and important, and they all go together. Faith, hope, and trust. Be aware of these things. You want to absolutely trust in God. Like I said, release any shadow of doubts or fears that you might be holding. Release those. Be aware of those. Let them go. Um, Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not on thy own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make straight your path. That says it all. Like that says it all. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. None of us understand what's happening. We don't know why we're having this experience, but we trust in God and know that God will see us through. So, again, it's the absolute that I'm talking about, without any fear, without any worries, without any doubt. Of course, we're all human. We have our days, we have our moments, but you don't want to be overcome by these things, because I think too many people we're trusting in the wrong things. People get led astray when they follow the wrong person. And I'm sure we've all done that at some point in our lives. We believed in someone who, betrayed us or misled us or misguided us. We have to really learn to listen to ourselves, trust ourselves, because I think in all of those experiences, there's something there that says this isn't right, something isn't right. We have to really learn to listen to ourselves, to pay attention to the truth that you know in your heart. And that is God, that is always speaking to us in every experience. And we have to really pay attention to that. Even when I go somewhere, like as an example, when I go to a restaurant, I walk in, which that rarely happens anymore, but I'm just sharing this as an example. But when I walk into a restaurant, I look around and I think, how does it feel here? And if it doesn't feel right, if something doesn't feel right, I typically will leave. You know, sometimes if I'm with another person, I'll stay, but I'm always aware of that. And typically in those relationships, and in those experiences, I've had an experience where, you know, perhaps the food wasn't good or something happened. But be aware of how you're feeling when you go to places. Like really start to pay attention, because, you know, those are little things that we need to be aware of. So, you know, like I said, we want to just be very careful about who we're following, because the truth is that no one is above God. No man, no woman. You know, God is supreme and reigns supreme. And that's why we have to put God first, above all others, above all else. God has to come first in our lives. And I think the reason that a lot of people get led astray is because, you know, you're believing in the wrong person. Like, you know, we learn from one another, we grow through our experience, sharing our experiences, and, you know, interacting with one another. But you don't want to put your faith and your belief in anyone. Believe in God. God comes first. And, you know, period. Like, God first. You know, I say all the time that I trust in God, not man, because, you know, we don't absolutely know anyone. It's hard to absolutely trust anyone, but in God, you can trust, which is the essence of the message of this segment today. God is where we put our trust, our faith, our trust, our belief. But again, it has to be absolute. So, if you need any words of reassurance or comfort at this time, in, you know, when I say at this time, meaning, you know, what this experience that we're going through, look to the Bible. You know, and I'm not saying, which I mean, the Bible, I'm not saying that you have to like sit down and read the Bible from cover to cover, but if you have a moment where you just need a little something, say a little prayer and pick up the Bible and just open it and see what's there. And oftentimes you'll be surprised to find that you may actually, you more than likely you will get a message, like something that you need in that time, if you do it sincerely. Because I've done that so many times where, you know, it's just like I just need a little something, and just go to the Bible, because there's so much truth there, like beautiful, beautiful words of truth. So just remember that beautiful little resource that we have. And, you know, read the words and truly receive them into your heart. So we've talked about faith, we've talked about hope, we've talked about trust, and belief. So, of course, we have to talk a little bit about love, because love reigns supreme above all else, because God is love. So, if we have that close relationship with God, we are connected to love. And love is going to see us through this experience. God is love. So keep your heart open, have faith and believe, and have hope. Hold on and believe, and God is going to see us through this. So, you know, God's love is everlasting and surpasses all things of earth, above and beyond all things. So I say all the time on Love Talks, stay close to God. And I don't know if that really translates or conveys clearly, but hopefully in this segment, it has come through very clearly what I mean by that. And it just means to put God first in your life. Get to know God, let God into your heart, pray often, trust God, live for God, and that is your peace. And it really is that simple, you know, that we have to put God first. So um, when you truly know God, there is a knowing in your heart. And that is your peace. So again, I keep saying this, just really, really get to know God, because beyond believing is knowing. And when you have that knowing, there is no doubt. There's just truth, the truth in God. So you want to get to that place where, no doubt, zero doubt, absolute. So I just want to say a little bit about fear, because we're just being constantly inundated with this wave of fear. And we're all human. Fear is part of the human experience. I think we all have some fear. I've had people say to me, oh, I have no fear. Like, come on, we all have some fear. But fear can be a healthy thing. Fear is what sets boundaries that, we know not to do certain things, or, things of that nature. But you don't ever want to allow fear to control you or consume you. And I think that is what's happening. Some of that is happening now, that people are just so overwhelmed with fear. And if you really allow fear to get a grip on you like that, it can lead you to do something that maybe perhaps you wouldn't do that normally. So just be aware. Be aware if you're really experiencing a lot of fear, that is the time to, first of all, be aware of it. But secondly, it's time to get to know God, because remember what I said, suffering comes when we stray from God. So if you're not in a place of peace, you need to spend some time with God. So just really remember that, because we're in this climate of fear, and we need God in our lives to get through this time, because I just feel like this fear is being used to, like, for lack of a better word, like to manipulate us or to control us. And it's like this fear is being used to, what is the word that I use? I'm okay. Well, I just say manipulate us and control us. So, but anyway, we're not cattle, and we're being guided to do certain things, like, oh, this virus, this is going to happen. You have to do this. Like, we're not cattle and we're not sheep. We are lambs of God. So live for God, stay close to God, and be at peace, because God is our shepherd and the only one that we want to follow and trust. And we'll get through this. Let's see what else. So basically, God wants all of us to be happy, to live our best life, to fulfill our dreams, and to have everything that we want in this lifetime. God truly wants that and supports that and is with us in creating that for our reality. And, it may seem that things have like gotten thrown off track or out of balance or whatever. But again, just remember that we're going to get through this time. We're going to get our lives on track. We have to just continue to go forward and work toward our goals and everything that we're wanting with absolute faith and trust. Trust in God with all your heart. So I do have a poem that I'm going to share today. It is a poem about God, which I think is very appropriate. Actually, a poem that I wrote to God. I think it's very appropriate for this segment. And it is titled, His Love. His Love. In His love, we are surrounded. Through His eyes, we clearly see. By His joy, we are uplifted. Through His comfort, we find peace. In His promise, we believe, as His plan ever unfolds. With His strength, we can move mountains. When His presence we behold. With his grace, we are renewed. By his hand, we shall be healed. In his mercy, we are lifted. Through his word, we are fulfilled. For his favor, we are grateful. In his greatness, we believe. With his power, we find glory, and his blessings we receive. In his time, all things reveal. His love shall conquer all. In this truth, our souls can rest. From his rock, we shall not fall. His light shall lead the way. Through him, we'll all be healed. God is only love. His love thou shalt not fear. So that's his love. So as we go forward in this coming week, I just want to remind you, as you know, the essence of this whole love talk today, that God is with us, that God is truly with us. So don't be afraid. Be a believer. Stay close to God. Talk to God. Talk to him often. Pray often. Just have faith and believe, and we will get through this. And, you know, just as the last line of that poem says, his love thou shalt not fear. God is love, the purest source of love there is. You know, a lot of people say I'm a God-fearing person, and I get it. You know, if you truly fear God, then, you know, you have to live right. But love the Lord, truly love God, love yourself, and ultimately we will learn to love one another and bring heaven to earth as God intended. And it is possible. It's absolutely possible if we choose it. So, the winner of the book drawing for last week, I had forgotten to write the name down, so I have two names to announce today: Sanjay Carter and Dwayne Adams. So, congratulations to both of you. And I just want to say thank you guys for, you know, taking the time to watch Love Talks. I truly appreciate it. I hope that you find the information that I shared to be helpful. As always, you can always tag someone in the Love Talks if you feel that a message that I've shared would be helpful to them. But again, I do appreciate your time, and I wish you all a beautiful, safe, healthy, happy week ahead. And just as an FYI, I am taking next week off, not because the reason that I did last week, where I was just a little, no, actually I did Love Talk last week, but I'm not taking next week off for that reason. Just, you know, just to kind of take a moment to reset. And I will be back on Valentine's Day, which I'm really excited about, the day of love. I don't know yet what I'll be sharing, but I'm just, you know, going to get still and listen and see what message of love comes through for Valentine's Day. So I hope you'll plan to watch that segment. But anyways, thank you all again for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Blessings.